In the world of sports, you have records and then you have legends, numbers that feel like they're from another planet. Today, we are tackling one of basketball's most mythical achievements. We're going to break down the absolutely impossible recipe for scoring 100 points in a single NBA game. Okay, let's get right into it.
100. In professional basketball, this number, it just stands completely alone. Honestly, it looks more like a typo on a box score than a real stat line. It's this figure that has, kind of haunted the league for over 60 years. It's a monument to one single night of just absurd dominance. So that's the big question we're trying to answer here. Can anyone actually do this? It happened once, way back on March 2nd, 1962, when Wilt Chamberlain did the unthinkable. But why hasn't it happened since? I mean, the talent today is off the charts, scoring is way up. So what's the missing piece?
What's wild is that there's no video of that game. None. All we have is an audio recording of the last quarter. And when you listen to it, the number 100 stops being some abstract idea. You can literally hear the chaos, the announcers screaming, fans storming the court. It was a real crazy human moment. And to figure out how to repeat it, we've got to understand the ingredients that made it happen.
All right, ingredient number 1. This is the first part of the recipe for scoring 101, and it's the most obvious one, but man, in the modern game, it's also the most difficult. You need almost superhuman stamina.
It sounds almost stupidly simple, right? To score 100, you can't be sitting on the bench. But this is exactly where pretty much every modern attempt at making history just dies. It's over before it can even really get started.
Let's take Karl Anthony Towns as a perfect example. Not long ago, he went off for an incredible 44 points in just the first half. He was actually ahead of Wilt's pace from his 100-point game. You could feel it, the crowd was electric, it felt like history was actually possible.
And then he got subbed out. He only sat for 4 minutes of game time, just 4 minutes. But that was it. That was all it took. The momentum just evaporated, his rhythm was totally gone, and he came back cold. That tiny little rest was basically the nail in the coffin for what could have been a historic night.
And that just shows you the huge difference with Wilt. He didn't just play most of the game, he played all 48 minutes. In fact, that season, get this, he averaged over 48 minutes a game. I know, that sounds impossible, but it happened because his team played in overtime games and he just never sat. The guy just didn't get tired. So that's ingredient number 1, and it's a massive, massive hurdle today.
Okay, so you need stamina. But our next ingredient is totally counterintuitive. In fact, it's kind of weird. To even have a shot at 100, the game itself has to be competitive. It has to be close. And this right here is the great irony of chasing this record. Think about it. If you are playing so unbelievably well that you've scored 60 or 70 points, you've probably put your team up by a huge margin. And when the game is a blowout, your coach is absolutely going to pull you out. You got to prevent injury. You don't want to disrespect the other team. Your historic night is over because you were too good. James Harden is the perfect case study for this. A few years back, he put on an absolute show, dropping 60 points through just 3 quarters. 60! He was right on track. He needed a monster fourth quarter for sure, but it was mathematically in play.
But here was the problem. His team, the Rockets, were up by 54 points. 54! There was absolutely zero chance his coach was putting him back in that game. The game was long over, and so was his shot at the record. He never even touched the court in the fourth quarter.
And this chart, looking at 2 of Kobe Bryant's games just a month apart, illustrates this perfectly. Look at the top line. He plays the Mavericks, he's got 62 points, but the Lakers are crushing them, up by 34, so he sits the whole fourth quarter. Now look at the second line. Just a month later, the game is tight. The Lakers are only up by 6. He has to stay in to secure the win, and he goes on to score 81 points, the closest anyone has ever come. The single biggest difference? The scoreboard.
So you need insane stamina and you need a close game. But this last ingredient, this one is the most controversial. To get to 100, you pretty much need a conspiracy from your own team.
So let's go back to Wilt's game. At the start of the fourth quarter, his team was winning by 19. Now by today's standards, that's a blowout. The game is pretty much over. But his team, well, they decided to do something really unusual.
His teammates literally made a pact. Just give the ball to Wilt every single time down the court. If he missed a shot, they'd fight like crazy for the rebound just to give it right back to him. Then it got even weirder. Their coach started telling them to foul the other team on purpose, just to stop the clock and get the ball back to Wilt faster.
The whole fourth quarter wasn't really a basketball game. It was a mission to get one guy to a number.
I mean, can you even imagine that happening today? This kind of unapologetic, all-out, record-chasing, it's just not done anymore. When Devin Booker scored 70 points a few years back, a lot of people actually criticized him because his team was losing badly and they were calling timeouts in the final seconds just to get him more shots. What was celebrated back in 1962 would absolutely be called a farce today.
Okay, so with all these things in the way, the stamina, the score, the sportsmanship, has anyone in the modern era even come statistically close to matching Wilt's incredible scoring rate from that night? Well, the answer is yes, and it's probably not who you think.
The player who came the closest wasn't Kobe, it wasn't Harden, it was Klay Thompson in a game back in 2016. He just went on an absolute tear, scoring 60 points in a truly mind-blowing display of shooting.
And here's the part that is just staggering. He did it in only 29 minutes of court time. That's not even 3 full quarters. He was subbed out, he sat for huge stretches of the game. So, the really important question is, what was his scoring rate? How many points was he scoring per minute?
And here it is. This is really the aha moment of this whole thing. On a per-minute basis, Klay Thompson scored at a rate of 2.07 points per minute. Wilt, during his 100-point game, scored at 2.08. They are statistically identical. This proves it. The raw scoring talent to reach 100 absolutely 100% exists in the modern NBA. Klay just never got the minutes.
So there you have it. That's the impossible recipe. You need a player with the endless stamina of Wilt Chamberlain. You need a game that somehow stays close enough to keep them on the floor for all 48 minutes. And you need an entire organization, from the coaches to the last guy on the bench, to just be willing to throw normal basketball strategy out the window to chase a number. All 3 of those things have to happen on the exact same night.
In the entire long history of the NBA, that perfect storm has only happened one time. The talent is there, we've just seen proof of it. But the circumstances, the mindset, those might just be a thing of the past. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. Will the basketball gods ever let all those ingredients come together